Alrighty, Uncle Roddus back again with some more vinyls to show you. Sorry. It's been a really good few weeks actually. Been some great sound up installations going on in town, or festivals per se in the city, and I've been in the last couple of weekends seeing stuff. Noisy, droney, electronic-y, weird, underground, stuff that I've shown many times on my videos of vinyl that I've collected in the New Zealand scene, and we had a whole weekend of it last weekend, and we had another one last night. It was only a sort of a fairly, I think, an impromptu event actually, and it didn't go for long, but it was really nice, really cool. I was in the city, and before I went and had a meal with a mate, and we both went and saw the people that were playing. He actually knew one of them from his childhood, when he went to school with the guy's older brother, so they caught up, and he really enjoyed it, something that I'm sure he's not used to actually, but he really enjoyed it, so that was really cool. So I took the opportunity while in town, of course, to go to the record shop. Dangerous thing to do. So last weekend, well, I'll tell you what, first of all, I had a couple of compilations I ordered off Bandcamp that came out in New Zealand music over the last sort of 6 or 8 months. Now this one here came out late last year, COVID Collab, a New Zealand lockdown music collaboration, and this is a whole bunch of local musicians, many of whom I'm not familiar with their names, but I'm probably more familiar with the bands that they play in perhaps, but there's a couple of people on here like Steph Animal and Anita Clark, who I know, and Grayson Gilmore. But yeah, this is I sort of hummed and hard about this one for a while, but decided to add it to my collection and I've got to my New Zealand compilation collection. It's saying that it's not a compilation of existing artists, it's actually a collaboration of artists specifically for this record. And they made a bunch of really quite interesting music. Some of it reminds me, one track in particular reminds me very much of Stereolab, and I think it's a worthwhile record actually, and it's grown on me quite a bit since I heard it, so picked that up. And then this one here is a similar kind of thing, came out not long after, late last year, or certainly recorded last year. It's got 2020 written on it, so it's already tomorrow. So similar situation, a bunch of existing artists, some of her again familiar with, like the Purple Pilgrims, Juna Oates and Grayson Gilmore again. Also Hayden Christolm, who I'm familiar with off the Rattle Records catalogue. He's a jazz guy, and the guy that actually put this all together is John Pastis. So I'm not sure how you say his name. He, I think he even wrote some of the music on here. All tracks. No, hang on, where was it? Yeah, curated and produced by John. Initial music material was provided by John and a few of the others, and then I guess it was built on by the rest of the artists. So again, it's a various artist compilation, but it's not distinct independent bands just donating tracks to it. It's a specific record. This is actually a lot better than the COVID Collab one. I really like this one. It's got some real interesting jazzy stuff to involve in it, because of some of the people are quite have quite a jazz background. So really worthwhile having actually. And this one is on nice green vinyl, nice translucent green vinyl, and with its own kind of arty tag labels in the middle. This is supported by the New Zealand Arts Council, Creative New Zealand. So yeah, that's definitely worthwhile having. Definitely worthwhile. Some really cool stuff on that. So I bought that directly off Bandcamp. I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did actually. Yeah. And then last weekend, so I was in town seeing this group of concerts. Basically, it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and on the Saturday I went in a little bit earlier. There was 2 shows, one at 2 o'clock and then one at 8 o'clock. So I went in and just after, well, I actually had lunch in town first and went to the record shop and found some records. Now I wasn't expecting to find too much. I was hoping not to find too much, but always something, isn't there? There's always something. Okay, so first of all, records I couldn't leave behind. The first volume of the Prospective Musicals series from Sonic Youth. There are 9 volumes, I believe, in this series. Not all of them are music by Sonic Youth, but this one is. Can't even read it. It's kind of written in French, the title. So this is an EP on, now there are 2 versions of this, and I understand the red and a black, and I happen to have picked up the red one. This is an EP, 45 RPM, what is it, there's about 12 minutes on one side and about 10 minutes on the other side. This is pretty cool. This is, just a little bit more experimental, and I was pleased to find that out because this weekend, or this week, Sonic Youth, the leader of Sonic Youth, who was Thurston Moore, he was actually playing with the Dead Sea. Now this has kind of got a Dead Sea vibe to some of it, sort of droney, experimental, noisy stuff. And he was playing with the Dead Sea over in Hobart in Australia, and I happen to know someone who went over for that, so that was cool. He posted a wee bit of a video on Facebook. Picked up an ECM, quite an early one that I didn't have, Facing You, Keith Jarrett. This could possibly be, I'm not 100% sure, but this could possibly be his very first solo piano record, I don't know. I know he put out a couple of records in the before he went on ECM, just in the late 60s, early 70s, because I had one on CD. Was it Last Exit or something it was called, I can't remember. So yeah, this is just him on the piano. This is a nice record. Pretty cool. So yeah, add that to my ECM collection. And then finally in that haul, I was really excited to pick this up. And this is, I believe, the second Henry Cowell album, Unrest, from 1974, original on Virgin Records. This is an original from the UK, I believe. Not always easy to tell whether it's an reissue or a repress. I suppose sometimes the matrix numbers in the centre, and I sometimes can't be bothered looking at that. Yeah, I've been on the lookout for these guys for quite a while. You don't see it turn up very often, so I was really excited to find it, and I'm really impressed with it. It's really good. I mean, I've heard it a little bit. I knew known who they are for years, but I hadn't really heard much of their music apart from a few tracks here and there, which it always turned me on a bit. So I thought, if I ever see something of theirs, I'll grab it. And sure enough, wow! And this is in really good condition. So that was a great find. And then yesterday I went into town again. I actually had to work in the morning, damn it, but all the extra money I made from working I went and spent, didn't I, at the record shop in the afternoon. I thought I'd just been in there the week before, there probably won't be much more in there. I mean, there was a whole bunch of stuff in there that, it was very tempting, but I had a lot of it already on CD and stuff like that. But in the end, I actually found quite a lot of stuff that I really couldn't leave behind. And the first one playing behind me is the only New Zealand one of the pick of yesterday's scores. But this is Bachelorette, and I believe this was their last LP in 2011 on Drag City, and it was actually the one that I didn't have because I think I've got 2 other LPs plus an EP type thing she put out. This is a lady called Annabelle Alper. She's actually local from Christchurch, my hometown. Yeah, I really like her music. Recently she put out a thing with her husband, who she married an American and has been living over there, I think, quite a bit. I'm not sure she's there at the moment, or we're back here in New Zealand, but Haymakoff, I think it was called. Really good LP that she put out with him last year, maybe? Anyway, what else did I get at Penny Lane? So yeah, these are all in the new arrivals bin. So you know they obviously weren't there last week, or I would have grabbed them. First up is this one. A lot of people will know what this is. So Caravan, what is this? Their third LP, something around there. So I thought I actually had this on CD, and it turned out I didn't. And I used to have it on vinyl many years ago. This was probably the first album of Caravan I picked up, or was it For Girls Who Grow Plump in the Night? That's the one I have on CD, For Girls Who Grow Plump in the Night. But this one I used to have on vinyl, and I thought I had on CD, but I haven't. Yeah, so this is, I believe it's an original version, UK version on Deram. I think there was, looking on Discogs, there were several variations of the actual colour of that part on the labels, and I've got the red one. Yeah, so it looked quite scratchy, but I put it through the cleaning machine and it's cleaned up nicely. And it has got a few marks on, but they're very lightweight and they don't come through too badly. So you know, that's the magic of a cleaning machine. It actually helps a bit with that sort of stuff. But I mean, you know, there's a little bit of surface noise. So I hadn't heard that record for quite a few years, and I was most enjoyable. Very good record. Absolutely, yeah. Really pleased. Couldn't leave that behind. And then I picked up a couple of these because I cannot leave these behind either. I don't have a lot of their stuff on vinyl. I've got several on CD, but not this. I didn't have a copy of this one at all. As you can see, it's Soft Machine, alive and well, recorded in Paris. I've just been listening to this before I started making this video, and I'm really impressed. It's pretty cool. The band had evolved on big time from its original, and I don't think there's hardly any of the original members left by this stage. This is 1977. This is an Australian pressing from 1978 on EMI Records, and it's got John Marshall, Carl Jenkins, John Etheridge, and Rick Sanders, and Steve Cook. I don't recall any of those guys being in the original lineup, but you know, this band changed its lineup considerably over the years of the 70s, over the time, but we're consistently good, and this is pretty cool. So later on stuff, and then for a pretty good price I actually picked up this one, and the vinyl looks okay, but there's a few marks on it, but it didn't look anywhere near as bad or just the same as the Caravan one, and that played okay once I cleaned it. So haven't played this one yet, but yeah, Soft Machines 6 double LP gatefold on CBS Records. The other one was on Harvest. So 1973, this is a little bit earlier obviously, and we've got Hugh Hopper was there, Carl Jenkins is still there, and Mike Ratledge, John Marshall. Actually, John Marshall was on the other one, wasn't it? So it's still two of the guys. Yeah, John Marshall and Carl Jenkins were still were back in the band this far back. That's Mike Ratledge and Hugh Hopper were still there, who were they? Two of the original members. So yeah, double LP of I think. Yeah, half studio, half live record. So yeah, like I say, I'm a big fan of these guys. I have third on LP, I have 4 and 5 on CD, I have 1 and 2 on CD. So I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have 7. There is a 7, isn't there? Yeah. So really pleased to find these. So that was a good score. And then the last one, even more exciting. I was really excited to find this one. A few videos back I showed the first or second LP from these guys. Was this the first LP? Blonde Wind Pig. The head rings out. Is this their first or second LP? I can't remember. A&M Records from 1970 something or rather. This is really good. I really enjoy it. I like their first one. Actually, the first track on side 2 Is it I See My Way, I'm guessing? That's a track I knew from them quite well because it's on a compilation, a prog CD compilation that I had, so really cool. But the rest of it's fantastic. I really, really enjoyed this, and I really, really enjoyed their first LP as well. So, or the whichever order these two come out, I can't quite remember. So now I have their first two records. I think they split up after that and then reformed or something. Can't remember. I've got a terrible memory for this sort of shit. So some really nice scores. So not a lot of New Zealand stuff there, obviously, but I'm really pleased to have all of those records. None of them I could leave behind in the bins, so it spent way more than I was intending to, and that seems to be always the way. Never mind, that's what happens when you're a vinyl junkie. Right, I shall go and leave you to it, so have a good day, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers.